Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A just ruler, that was one of the 7 whom Allah would shade in His shade on the Day of Judgment. May Allah make me and you among them. The second one is a youngster, a young man, a boy. However, this boy is not like any other one. He's a person, he's a young man who was brought up, who grows in worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal. And one would say, okay, so what? We're all like this. No, we're not. Definitely we are not. Youth is something that is highly looked upon in Islam. It's a stage that each and every one of us must go through. And it is between 2 weaknesses, the weakness of childhood and the weakness of becoming old. So this gap is quite important in a Muslim's life, because in it he gives and he produces most of what would benefit him on the Day of Judgment or what would harm him. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect us all on the Day of Judgment. And not everyone can claim that Allah has blessed him to have such a successful youth. The Prophet told us ﷺ, in 2 authentic hadiths, that the foot or the feet of the son of Adam would not be moved on the Day of Judgment until he's asked about 4, in a narration about 5. One of them, in both hadiths, his youth and how he utilized it. So you will be questioned about every single day, every single week, every single year of your youth, every single moment. What have you done and why you did that? And if you look at the Muslim Ummah, you'll find that it was established on the shoulders of the youth. Usama ibn Zayd, 16, 17 years of age. Anas ibn Malik, when the Prophet died, ﷺ, he was in his late teens. As Abdullah ibn Zubayr, his father before him, Az-Zubayr ibn al-Awwam, who was 13 or 14 years of age when he became a Muslim. And he was the first one to hold his sword in defense of the Prophet ﷺ while he was 13 or 14 years of age. Abu Hurairah, Ibn Abbas, great scholars of Islam. Islam was established on their shoulders. And in this era that we live in, where temptation is surrounding us, where the devil soldiers are calling us to come and to answer them, when everything is easy, it's difficult to find a young man far away from all of these things. It's difficult to find a young man who did not fall in sin, who was brought up to worship Allah, and he does it willingly, not by his parents forcing him. He's doing it for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. It's difficult to find a young man sitting alone and not browsing pornography sites or watching a movie or listening to music or doing something haram. In this time and era we live in, a lot of the youth, they deviate, they divert from the straight path. Sex, drugs, intoxications, partying, doing things that Allah Azza wa Jal does not approve of. And even if there were youngsters, and I pray to Allah that there would be a lot of them who are far away from this filth and from these major sins, those who are not indulging in major sins, the majority of them are wasting their lives. They don't have a target in life because they were not brought up on Islam. They waste a lot of time. They kill time as if time committed a crime to be killed for. They do not pray on time. They do not pray in the masjid. They spend their days and nights laughing about things, engaging themselves in silly things, and the most important thing for them to do is to kill time. And the most thing that would bring pleasure to them is their football team winning a match, winning a trophy, winning a tournament, or when they spend their time watching an action movie. Why? Because they do not have an objective in life. That boy, that young man who was brought up worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal is a different species altogether. His objective is to please Allah. His target is to upbring a nation that abides by the Quran and the Sunnah. So he's focused on getting his community, his society to become the elite. He works hard at school. He works hard in the university. He tries to give and to acquire knowledge, and at the same time, his moral conduct, his ethics, his behavior is top-notch. He's always kind to the elder. He is merciful to the young. He's obedient to his parents. He's connecting to the next of kin. He is generous and kind to his neighbors. His friends love him and adore him. Why? Because he was brought up worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal, and he knows that this is what Allah Azza wa Jal wants from him. His inspiration, his worries are for the ummah, are for the Muslims, and not for his own desires and own lust. This is a man who was brought up worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal. May Allah make me and you among those whom Allah shades in His shade. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.